Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Savella, Program Associate with Candid, and I'm joined today by Amy Eisenstein and Andrea Kilstead, co-creators of the Capital Campaigns Toolkit. Thank you so much for joining me today, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
It's great to have you both here. Amy and Andrea will be instructors for our upcoming digital classroom titled Your Major Donors Can Help Launch Your Capital Campaign, and it'll be taking place on July 18th. I wanted to get the conversation started today by asking you both, what are some of the common challenges that fundraisers run into when considering a capital campaign? Amy, can you start us off?
Sure. I think one of the biggest challenges that people face when contemplating a capital campaign is really not knowing where to start. And so it's a big source of frustration. One of the reasons for this is that because capital campaigns only take place every 10 or even 20 years or more at organizations, most people who work at nonprofits haven't been through a campaign from start to finish, or certainly not multiple campaigns, because they just don't come around that frequently. So I think one of the challenges that we want to address and that we're going to be talking about is just knowing where to get started and what to do next.
Yeah. Amy or Andrea?
So I think most everyone who goes into a capital campaign has some level of anxiety about whether they really know the people who will give those very big gifts. That's a natural anxiety to have, and one that is critically important for every capital campaign.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to follow up with what the webinar will be focusing on. We will be talking specifically about how major donors can support your organization's capital campaign. Andrea, can you provide us a sneak peek of what we'll be covering?
Yes, I think it's going to be a really helpful webinar, actually, where we are focusing on just the question of who are the people who are likely to be your largest donors, when to talk to them, how to talk to them, and how to train your board and staff so that when they go and talk to those major donor prospects, they do a really good job.
And Amy, we always like to keep our webinars very practical, making sure that everyone can walk away being able to do something, whether it's that same day or that same month. So what's the one thing that our participants will be able to do right after the webinar?
Well, I think we're going to have a few things that they're going to be able to do immediately. One is they're going to be able to make right away a list of potential supporters, prospective donors that are going to be the key leadership level donors. We're going to help them figure out how to identify who those folks are. So they're going to be able to right away make a list of who those potential donors are. Another important thing is that they're going to be able to make a list right away of really important questions to ask those potential donors to engage them. So I think those are the two that I'll share right now, but we hope that they'll be able to do a few things immediately after the webinar.
That's great. Who should you start having that conversation with, and how should you have that conversation, I think are going to be really helpful, but I'm very much looking forward to the other tips that you'll be offering our participants as well. And it's really great to have you ladies joining us, and I'd love our audience to get to know you a little bit more. So I wanted to start off by asking you, what is, a good favorite book or a recent read? Amy, can you kick us off on this one?
Yeah, so one book that I absolutely love is called A More Beautiful Question. It's by Warren Berger. And the question that he asks throughout the book is, what would you do if you could not fail? And to me, it was so inspiring. It actually, over the last couple of years, it's caused me to take all sorts of risks and do things that I might not have done if you think about what would you do if you couldn't fail? And then you do all sorts of crazy things, right?
Yep. Andrea, anything that you've been reading lately or a good recommendation?
Yes, and actually it's an interesting counterpart to Amy's book. I've been reading Melinda Gates's book, The Moment of Lift. And, and that, of course, is about a woman who has almost unlimited resources. In some ways, she can't fail. And, of course, she talks about how challenging it is to be able to figure out how to make the world better, how to invest her unbelievable assets in making the world a better place. So it's a it's a lovely read. You get a sense of her as a person. You
Mm-hmm.
get a sense of the challenges of figuring out how to invest in the big problems they invest in. And no summer goes by for me without reading a mystery novel or something like that. So I always have a Jack Reacher novel or two that I bury myself in for the summer. That's one of my favorite pieces of summer reading.
Excellent, excellent. Something a little bit more stimulating for the mind and probably another good beach read as well.
That's right. Exactly.
Great. So thank you so much, Andrea and Amy, for sharing your insights with our online audience. As I said, I'm very excited to continue the conversation on July 18th. We invite everyone out there on the internet to join us as well. Be sure to register at grantspace.org by July 10th to take advantage of our early bird pricing. And do know if you can't join us live, when you register, you'll automatically get a copy of the recording to view on your own time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, Amy and Andrea, and thank you everyone else.
Hi, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.